Today we are going to get messages for you from Spirit at the time you view this video. And we're going to do that by pulling, I'm planning on 2 cards from, oh, there's one of them, from this Green Witches Oracle deck. It's a relatively new deck to me. Ooh, here's the other. Okay. We've got Hearth, Safety, Comfort, Spiritual Connection, and Oak Tree. Power, courage, and strength. At the bottom of the deck is rain, cleansing, purification, and hydration. So we will read from the guidebook with these, or for these, but before we do that, I'm just getting the sense that I might want some clarifiers here. I think I'm going to use this tree deck as clarifiers. The Soul Trees Oracle cards. Ooh, look at there's one that came through. Wisdom. Oh, beautiful. And the reason I'm feeling drawn to these, or to this tree deck, is all the plants in this arrangement are tree buds. Aren't they so beautiful? So it's spring in Minnesota as I'm recording this, and I'm just like blown away by the beauty of these buds. So, ooh, there it comes. Ooh, 2. Oh goodness, so many are coming out. Okay, let's see. I believe that it's this one here. Okay. Bottom of the deck is initiation. Okay, so let's see how we want to set this up so you can see everything. So once again, we've got the Hearth card. That's clarified by wisdom. We have, I'm going to flip these, I think, like that. Then we've got the Oak Tree card, clarified by the 6th chakra, 3rd eye. Bottom of the deck was rain, clarified by initiative. Wow. Look at this. What a cool reading. Okay, so we'll start by reading about the Hearth card. And Hearth, the words for the card are safety, comfort, spiritual connection. It says, the card meaning: the hearth is a spiritual heart of your home, symbolizing the presence of spirit. A physical hearth provides light, warmth, and a way to prepare nourishment. The spiritual hearth represents the spiritual nature of a home, or of the home, the essence of what makes it a place of rest and rejuvenation and comfort. The location of the spiritual hearth is unimportant, as whatever you might use or recognize as its physical representation. It may be a feeling, a meditation, a blanket. Hearth also symbolizes connection with those you consider family as well as spirit. This card suggests that you look to those relationships to do what is necessary to reinforce them. Renew your connection to your hearth to keep the communication with spirit in your home vibrant. Reflection: in what way does your connection to spirit need attention? Wow. Hearth with wisdom. That's so beautiful. Okay, let's read about all these and then we'll kind of debrief the energy, shall we? So next we have the Oak Tree. There it is. This one says, oh, the words first are power, courage, and strength. It says, the oak tree is a popular symbol of strength. The wood is dense and durable, reliable and long-standing. This tree symbolizes power and bravery, telling you that you can stand up to whatever storm is on the horizon. The mighty oak begins as a tiny acorn. It is reassuring to know that something so immense and strong started out as something that you can hold between 2 fingers. Not only does it remind us that small things can yield huge results, it also reminds us that growing takes time. Rapid growth uses energy to reach a goal quickly. Slow growth uses energy to ensure stable, strong development. The Oak Tree card urges you to be brave and to stand tall. Reflection: is there something you've been avoiding because of the fear of confrontation? Wow. And then finally, rain. Rain says, water is one of the essentials of life and one of the 4 classical elements that we can use in magical work. Oh, and the words for rain are cleansing, purification, and hydration. Rain hydrates soil and plants. It can be a gentle sprinkling to moisten your garden, or a heavy dulge. Is that how you say that? I'm not sure. Heavy dulge, so a heavy downpour, enough to wash away previous stable land. The rain card tells us that something in your life needs cleansing or purification. It can be a light cleansing, or it may be a full-on reshaping of your situation. There may be a part of your life that is parched and needs the rejuvenation. Meditate on the warning that this card brings, and use the energy of water to purify the imbalance. Let the rain wash away what overwhelms you. The reflection is there a part of your life that is eroding due to an unceasing flow of unstable energy? Okay, so let's start there, because I know that can, I mean, whenever a deck says like, heed this warning, I always have, I don't like that feeling. So I just want to start there and say, I'm not getting the sense off this card that it's like it's urgent or anything like of that nature. I think it's more, it's like it's reinforcing kind of what you already know. And as I say that, if you've tuned into my readings before, you know that that's how I like to use tarot and oracle and divination in general. Always is just kind of bringing things from the subtle knowing to a more obvious understanding. And so what I keep thinking about with this card, the rain card, is there's a different deck I have, and there's a forgiveness card in there. And I'm going to grab that really quick because I think it'll help me explain kind of the energy that is coming to me with this, with the cards coming out in this spread. Okay, I'm back. I found the card, and isn't that beautiful? And what I'm noticing right away is look at how it sort of matches the coloring of the oak tree and the hearth. The oak tree and the hearth have this like golden, warm, brown energy. And so I'm really loving that. So this forgiveness card, the kind of definition of forgiveness that is given, as you can see, it's written on the card. It says release dysfunctional energy. And so I just kept thinking about this card when I was reading it and seeing this rain card. And so once again, in the guidebook, it said like, heed this warning. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not getting any sort of urgency sense with this. Like, if you don't heed this warning, then something terrible is going to happen. I feel like this is more of a like a nod to your long-term healing. And I am getting the sense that you're not new to the healing journey. And so there's like there's an invitation, there's a acknowledgement of all the healing that you've done that is very much present in this energy. And then there's an invitation to keep going, because there's like I think the main message from Spirit is that anything that feels off isn't ultimately going to be corrected. The imbalance isn't going to be corrected without the purification, without the releasing of dysfunctional energy. Like, you can't create on top of it. Does that make sense? And I think it's so interesting that the hearth card and the oak tree card come out, because those are both, you know, cards of immense power and strength, right? And so there's like foundational energy to these two cards, right? And so what's coming to me strongly is that strong foundation that you're craving is created initially through purification and cleansing. And when I say initially, I mean, I think that's a long process, right? But what I'm trying to say is you can't like build over, you have like on top of, right? You almost have to start over to a certain extent. There's like a deconstruction that is necessary, a cleansing that is necessary in order to have the strength that you are craving in whatever you're creating. You know, and it's like strong oak trees, not only do they start as a small acorn, but they also need strong soil in order to create the strength of an oak tree, right? And so there's definitely, again, what's just coming through so strongly is that foundational wisdom. Or I was looking at the wisdom card, but like the creating of a strong foundation. And I think that part of the reason this forgiveness card kept flashing in my mind as I was looking at this rain card is when I initially drew the forgiveness card in a reading that I was doing for myself personally. And at first I was like a little annoyed that I drew forgiveness, because what I was coming to the reading for, I didn't want forgiveness to be the answer, because I didn't want the toxic version of it, right? Where we're like supposed to just ignore being mistreated or bad behavior. But when I read the essentially the definition of it from this card, which is releasing dysfunctional energy, I really love that, because I had never thought of forgiveness in those terms. But I really love that, where there's a cleaning up going on. So then true forgiveness is a cleaning up, right? It's not like a pretending not to see bad behavior in yourself or others, right? But it's a true and utter cleaning up, so that there's this strong foundation in place. And I think I'm just finding it so interesting. Like, so wisdom clarifies the hearth. And I think that makes so much sense, because it's like the hearth of your life, the heart of the matter, the hearth of your life, the hearth of your home. If it is built on wisdom, there's such strength in that, frankly, right? But if it's built on something else, right, then there's going to be issues. And I love the definition of wisdom from Clarissa Pinkola Estes in her book. I think it's A Wise Wild Woman, or something like that. Old Wise Wild Woman, or Wise Wild Grandmother. I'm like I'm butchering the name. It's a brilliant book, though. I'll put the title in the description box of this video. But her definition of wisdom, and oh my gosh, I think it came from trees, if I'm remembering right. So she was like writing this book on wisdom, essentially, like wise women, right? And she was like, well, what is even wisdom? And then if I remember right, she had a dream about a tree where the tree told her that wisdom is what works. Isn't that brilliant? So wisdom works. If something is not working in your life, then there must be, it must be unwise. And I don't say that to like call you out flippantly. I say that more just to like help you. Well, I'll speak from my own experience. It's been helpful in my own life when I can just get clear about assumptions I'm making, about definitions of words or life choices I'm making that I think are wise, or I think it's in alignment with the definition of wisdom. But if it's not working, then there must be like a disconnect, a blind spot between that assumption and what is actually true, right? And so I'm getting that sense here, where it's like, if something's not working, it doesn't mean you are a horrible person. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean there's anything flawed about you innately. What it just means is that there might be things in your life that you at one point or currently think are wise choices or wise ways about going about things. But what if there's actually something that would work better and would ultimately be wiser? And then what if, like, more and more you're creating your life around that wisdom, right? Like the hearth of your life, the hearth of your home, the hearth of yourself, the hearth of your life. You're creating a hearth of wisdom. So as you're moving forward, not only is there great and utter satisfaction in that, but also more and more things in your life work because wisdom works. And if wisdom is what you're creating, the hearth you're creating, what I'm trying to say? Like I said before, if your hearth is created around wisdom, that's the hearth of your life, then you've got this incredibly solid essence that you're moving forward from, which is then, just kind of the oak tree is piggybacking off that message. And then what I find so interesting is the sixth chakra, your third eye, is what is clarifying the oak tree. And there's a few reasons I find this interesting. One is it has a bit of a paradoxical energy to me because third eye energy is a bit more ethereal, spiritual, intuitive, that sort of energy. And the oak tree, is much more grounded, right? And I think what's being said here, and especially too because in this wisdom card, you see how there's like a similar purple theme going on as the third eye card. So I feel like what's being said here is strength and power and courage is going to come, that strong foundation is going to come from your relationship with spirit. So not in like a spiritual bypassing sort of sense, but in a very grounded sense. Like, again, there's very grounded foundational energy here with the paradoxical energy of seek spirit. So grounding spirit into your reality, making your relationship with spirit, making that not only important, but also like a guiding light in how you're making choices. And with that, you're going to increase your wisdom. And was it this one that talked about spirit? Like the reflection question was something along those lines. Let's see here. Oh, this one is there something you've been avoiding because of fear of confrontation, but was it rain that maybe talked about spirit? Let's see if we can find it. I haven't figured out the order of this book yet because it's not in alphabetical order. It's in a different order. Although, let's see, it must be in alphabetical order somewhere here. My apologies. Stick with me if you can. Okay, so Rain's question, so it's different. Is there a part of your life that is eroding due to an unceasing flow of unstable energy? So let's look at the hearth question. Oh, here it is. In what way does your connection to spirit need attention? So isn't that interesting that, we've got the third eye chakra and wisdom clarifying the two main cards, and the hearth card, which again it has this very grounded root level foundational energy, right, is actually asking, or the reflection question is spiritual in essence, right? And so there's like a cohesiveness to this message that is really, really beautiful. And then I love so much that initiative is clarifying rain. So again, rain is this idea of purification. It's the idea of forgiveness through the releasing of dysfunctional energy. And the reason I love initiation for that is this can be a little abstract, right? The idea of cleansing, purifying, releasing, it just is an abstract concept. And I feel like what the initiative card is trying to bring attention to is this idea that it doesn't have to be so abstract. There can be rituals that can be placed around the idea of releasing dysfunctional energy. There can be support that you can get around this. There can be practices and habits that you do. Some that are coming to mind are just like hip opening, like yoga hip opening exercises have been huge for me in releasing, because so much of my pent up energy, my unprocessed emotions are stored in my hips. And so that's like an actual physical, habit that I have to help me release energy, to help me purify. But then there's like conversations that can be initiated, right? There's practices. I'm thinking of like parts work which comes from IFS. And so, and PS, if any of these things are resonating, like hip opening or parts work, I will link up some of my videos that I have on a different channel that kind of address some of those. So if you're like, what the hell is she talking about? I'll link some things up because they might be like a good rabbit hole for you to go down to start or continue your process of forgiveness, of releasing, of purification. But I really think, just like look at this initiative card. It's like, it's intense is not the right word, but vibrant, right? It wants to be seen. And it's very different than, this card, although don't they look beautiful together? Wow. That's gorgeous. But you know, there's a paradox here again coming out. There's an intensity to this card, and but there's like a surrender that's in this card. And I think that paradox needs to come together, or Spirit is asking you to consider that paradox a bit more, so that there's, you know, what's coming to me is urgency put behind your, you know, releasing and healing practices. I don't think that's quite the right word, especially because I already said, you know, when this card said like, heed this warning, and I was like, it doesn't feel urgent. It doesn't feel urgent in the sense that something bad's going to happen if you don't do it. But maybe there is like a urgency or intensity that could be added, like a gentle intensity, we'll say, which again is a sort of a paradox. But this like gentle intensity that can be, you can see your healing, you can see your healing practices through that light. Like you have permission to take initiative with your healing. And then you guys, look at this. Look at what's under those two cards. Completely different energy, right? We've got fruit, which is achievement and success, with honor yourself. So this almost feels like the rewards that are in store for you once like you are dissolving this layer, right? This layer of cleansing with initiative, cleansing with initiative, cleansing with initiative. As you're dissolving that, then you allow essentially to reap your rewards. You allow yourself to reap what you've sown, the fruit, the harvest. And in that, you will be a person who is not only honoring themselves in the process, but there's more of an embodiment sense I'm getting from this card. Like you become a person who knows how to honor yourself. And when we more and more know how to, we embody the essence of honoring ourselves, I think then we know how to just simply honor. So what I'm trying to say is when we know how to honor ourselves, we also know how to honor others, and we know how to honor Mother Nature, and we know how to honor Mother God more. And so there's such beauty in this, so much potential for achievement and success. And then I think more than, well, not more than achievement and success, but like in addition to that achievement and success is this incredibly sustainable, grounded, fulfilling life. You know, again, we have the opportunity in this reading to like create that hearth of wisdom, right? And through your relationship with Spirit, and through that relationship with Spirit, you're grounding that wisdom into your daily life, living more from the sustainable principles of Mother God and Mother Nature. And so more than a warning, I think this rain card is such a beautiful acknowledgement of what you have already done in alignment with this essence, and then such a beautiful invitation to keep going, because once again, look at what is in store for you as you are more and more dissolving the discomfort, releasing the dysfunctional energy. You have this beautiful, juicy sweetness and this sacred respect for yourself and others. And then again, this sustainability, because you're building your life on the principles that work.